In this video, we're going to talk about Spawn and his team. Are they really ready for the Dead Zone apocalypse? Alright, my brothers and my sisters from another mister. This video is a comic book review of Spawn, issue number 345, brought to you by RatedComics. Let's get to it. So previously in Spawn, just when Cataclysm feels the war is all but lost, a new ally joins him. It's a war for the throne of hell. The dead zones are open, heaven, hell, all the forces are going in and out like it's nobody's business, and they're going all out. So 3 days ago in the Green World, the Oracle tells Nyx and Jim Downey that none of them are pleased about the circumstances that they're faced with right now. This breaks centuries of neutrality. Green World never intervenes like this, and what they're talking about is heaven want to take over hell's throne. Sin has amassed the army, he wants the throne of hell too. So right now the likeliest outcome of this war is heaven conquers hell entirely, or that sin takes over the throne. Both will be catastrophic for the Green World. The throne of hell must be occupied, so Cataclysm is the best of their regretful options, and he's the lesser of the evil right now because their intelligence suggests that he cannot access the throne's addictive powers due to his physiology. And that was referencing a few issues back when Sin knows that Cataclysm cannot access hell's true power because he's not necroplasm. That's not his origin. It's a different origin. Also, the Oracle knows that Cataclysm can be negotiated with. So Nyx is like, there's gotta be another way. There isn't, says the Oracle. And if he too has such concerns about this, perhaps he would have tried harder to prevent it. If he would have taken control over all the dead zones from Spawn, they wouldn't be in this position right now. Jim is like, so now they're playing a little blame game going back and forth right now. So Oracle's like, enough, we must act or else Sin will almost certainly take the throne, and if he does, none of us will survive. So right now, protecting the Green World is above all else. Nyx and Jim Downey, you guys are the scion of the Green World. Now go and do your duty. So now, in present time, all is going out. Nyx is doing her thing, Overkill's doing his thing, Cygor's doing his thing. They're just going all out in hell, annihilating these angels. And one of the commanders tells this guy, hey, you know, this is turning into a slaughter, my lord. We don't have the numbers for this. We need to leave or we'll be trapped here. But before they can give the order, there's some incoming, and that incoming, it's the heap. Heat goes in, guns blazing, heat blazing, I should say heat blazing, not heat's blazing, heap blazing, cracks him in the skull, and this guy, Gabriel's like, you filth, prepare to, and he gets blasted in the back, like, nah, it prepared nothing. So Nyx blasts him in the back, and she tells him, good work, keep pushing. So this guy tells Nyx, you should have stayed out of this. We have respected Green World's neutrality. We would have respected it, but you've broken your oath. After hell, we will lay waste to your eternal forest too. Your sacred gardens will burn, and every root and branch will be ripped out till nothing remains. So Nyx goes up to Cataclysm, and Cataclysm is like, okay, so Green World has finally chosen a side? You must be scared. Nah, says Nyx, you got it all wrong, bro. Scared? You weren't capable of maintaining control of your own kingdom. I'm a scion of Green World. On their behalf, I'm here to offer you our support. Says Cataclysm, and what do your masters want in return? Stability once this war is over with, and Earth is off limits. And Cataclysm's like, great, because I have no interest in Earth. So tell your parliament I accept. So now they take the prisoner from, you know, the Heaven's Angel, and they want to extract every information they can out of him. And Cataclysm tells his people to, you know, set up the accommodations for his new allies. So now Spawn's in the 7th realm, Spawn his team. And due to the Dead Zone's ongoing instability, it's been impossible for Spawn to predict where in hell and the portal would send him and his team. While not ideal, the 7th realm is their starting port, and they have to navigate this surgically to avoid any unnecessary conflict, and they have to be slow in their progress. Well, not too damn slow, but in hell, there's no shortage of threats lurking in the shadows. So Spawn soldiers know that they won't all be coming back from this encounter. Some, like Medieval and Redeemer, are here out of a sense of duty, of honor of others. Like Reaper, he's driven by a future destiny. Gunslinger Spawn, like many of the other soldiers, is driven simply by self-preservation, because they all know if this war is lost, there will be nowhere safe to hide. So, but they all blame Spawn about this because they're like, Spawn, you're barking orders when you're the one that caused all this mess. You allow Nyx and Jim to get access to half the dead zones. You opened up the dead zones, and now all this is turning upside down, and it's all your fault. Yeah, you know what? it is Spawn's fault. But you know what? They're all here because of one man, Sin. And Sin was formerly known as Cagliostro, but in then in Spawn's universe, it showed his transformation, and it showed how to lead up to that transformation of Spawn issue 314 through 317, which we did cover that in this channel. And no matter what era they hail from, each Hellspawn in this group has had their life blighted by the man once called Cagliostro, and each knows that for all Spawn's flaws, he remains their best chance at stopping Sin, because by now every faction has deployed enough scramblers and enchantments to make any attempt at teleportation impossible, so they gotta walk. So traveling on foot, it takes Spawn's team a week to reach the edge of the 6th realm. 2 additional days are spent crossing the numbing cold of Leviathan's domain, and they rest up a little bit. But they all question their own sanity. So they're riding on this boat, crossing about the Hell River, I guess you want to say, and they keep hearing voices of the people that they know who've died. And Medieval Spawn's like, I forget that this is your first time in Hell, She-Spawn. Do not worry, these voices are just one of Hell's many tricks to confuse you. At least the voices you hear are friendly. The ones I hear belong to those enemies whose lives I took. Sadly, your own victims will soon be screaming in your head. So they hear a splash out loud. Somebody jumped in the water. It was Soul Crusher. Like Jessica, this is Sergi's first trip to Hell too. Several moments ago, from the depths of the swamp, he began hearing a voice calling for help, and that voice was his sister Natasha's voice, and she died months ago in a horrible accident. He knows it can't be real, and yet he continues to swim deeper. So Spawn goes in to rescue him. Sergi's like, nah, don't be coming at me like that. I want to rescue my sister. So he decks Spawn in the face, and Spawn decks him with his chains. So even after he regains consciousness, Sergi will continue fighting against his restraints, wanting to return to the swamp. It will take another 2 hours for his madness to fully pass. Hell's playing tricks on him, and guess what? That's just the way the game goes, bro. Later, at the edge of heaven, occupied territory. So now they notice that they're resting, that they've created a defensive perimeter stretching miles in either direction. Spawn notices that, and Redeemer's like, can we go around? Nah, says Spawn, that'll take too long. We're already days behind where we need to be. And She-Spawn's like, well, there has to be another way. Can you guys scout ahead, see if there's any kind of gap in the perimeter we can sneak through? Medieval, escort them, sort them all out, come back and report. So in the 4th room, Cataclysm and Sin have a conversation, and what their conversation's about is, Sin tells Cataclysm, do you remember when we met? I was convinced you were a spy sent by a clown, and that's going back a few issues back in Spawn 2. And Cataclysm is like, well, I hope I've changed your mind about that. Well, that's yet to be determined. But you have done well these past few months, Cataclysm, of uniting so many different armies under one banner. That was not easy, but you did it. And I may just have to keep you alive when this is all done. Though even though Sin won't say this out loud, Sin feels a deep sense of pride having watched this boy develop into a strong, capable leader. So Cataclysm asks him, if I may, there's some concern amongst the soldiers about Greenworld's intervention. Haha, says Sin, understood, but I'm focused on the future. Tell me, do you know what a Royal Saber is? And Cataclysm doesn't know. It's one of the highest positions in the Hellfire Council, responsible for overseeing the entire military of Hell. So Sin tells Cataclysm, when I take the throne, I want you to be my saber. So in the Infernal Keep, the 1st realm, Cataclysm is having a meeting with his people, and even though it feels like momentum is in their side right now after their intervention, it's also making him look weak because he has to accept outside help. They don't know that he can't tap into Hell's Throne's full potential power. But you know what? Cataclysm's like, when this is done, no one will care what blade we use to kill the snake. You know what? So it's all good. So his people tell him, well, that's okay, because there's also further good news as well. So Cataclysm was like, what? Another potential ally wishes to speak with us, or what's going on? Now back in this panel right here, She-Spawn finally knows that Nyx is alive and Nyx is behind all this. Nyx is with the Green World, and she took the Green World side, and Green World took Cataclysm's side to defend the throne of Hell. And She-Spawn's like, this doesn't make any sense. This is not something that she would do, not without a good reason. And Spawn's like, I've learned everyone has an agenda. She's no different. Death will do that. But if Green World gets in our way, we treat them the same as heaven and hell. Says She-Spawn. maybe Cataclysm staying in power is the best option for now. He's a lesser of the evil. Spawn's like, we can't let Cataclysm take over the throne. He won't even last. Even if they could keep him in power, he'd be diminished. And his challengers aren't going to stop coming for him until someone, then they see something from afar and they got incoming. And that incoming impacts on the ground. And Sergi's like, Christ almighty. And that is the Reaper on the ground. Even though it's been foreshadowed that not all are going to make this trip alive and come back alive, well, we don't know what the threat is, but whatever did that to Reaper, it's about to go down. And that is the end of Spawn issue number 345. What do you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. Also, link in description if you wish to add this comic book and or some of our other Rated Comics exclusives to add to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry. Lastly, this video is sponsored by coffee, so if you'd like to buy your boy a cup of coffee, link in description or donate to the super thanks. But the greatest compliment you guys can do is by liking this video and subscribing to Rated Comics YouTube channel. Thank you again for watching. Until next time.